Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, Relax with Bedtime Stories, where you can listen to the sound of my voice. And tonight, we are gently spiraling back into sleep after a sudden 3 a.m. reality check that you didn't ask for. You're lying there, mind racing, replaying that one awkward moment from 5 years ago and wondering if socks are just foot prisons. But not for long. This time, you're going to outsmart your brain and float back to sleep without even checking the time again. You probably won't survive this yawn level of cozy. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments, where are you listening from and what time is it right now? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're back in bed. Maybe not for the first time tonight. The pillow has your head in its gentle grasp. The sheets are hugging your limbs like they've known you for years, which, let's be honest, they probably have. And there's that flickering sound again. Not from your thoughts this time, but from the small firelight dancing behind your closed eyelids. You don't have a fireplace in your room, and yet somehow, in this half-waking space, you do. That soft crackle, pop, hush rhythm looping in the background, just enough to trick your mind into cozy submission. The fire doesn't ask questions. It doesn't want anything from you. It just is. And right now, you get to just be too. Your breath, though you hadn't noticed it before, is slowly catching the tempo. In, pause, out, a little longer each time. It almost feels like you're syncing up with something older, wiser, and way less into doom scrolling than you were 20 minutes ago. You shift slightly, your shoulder, finding that one magic spot on the mattress, and a gentle warmth begins to coat your skin like someone poured quiet over your entire body. It's only fair. After all, humans have been struggling with interrupted sleep since the dawn of time. Back in the Middle Ages, sleep wasn't even one solid block. People used to have a first sleep and a second sleep, two distinct chunks of slumber with a waking period in between. Some would get up, tend the fire, say prayers, write in journals. Others would lie still and just breathe in the silence. It was normal. So here you are now, in your own version of the night watch, except instead of stoking a fire with logs, you're fueling your return to sleep with softness. You imagine the firelight behind your eyelids again, flickering orange shadows across a stone wall, the faint scent of cedarwood, earthy and grounding. You're wrapped in a woolen blanket, somewhere deep in a mountainside cottage, tucked away from everything that insists on being loud and bright. Each breath you take is a page turning itself, a story slowly writing itself backward from alertness into the blank canvas of dream. Your jaw loosens, your tongue rests quietly in your mouth, your fingers uncurl, and without any effort at all, you've become something closer to a river than a person. Sleep is not so much a destination, you realize, but more like a gentle current, and you've just decided to stop swimming upstream. There's a reason fire was humanity's first great hypnotist. It dances but never runs. It hums but never shouts. Even now, people pay to sit in rooms with fireplace videos looping on TVs. A digital ember still pulls you into stillness. And it makes sense, because our ancient ancestors would gather around fires, not just for warmth and food, but to tell stories. And the stories weren't always linear. Sometimes they'd drift like smoke into dreams. Sometimes they'd blur between fact and fable. One old tale from the north, passed down through Icelandic sagas, spoke of a woman who could dream someone else's sleep. She would sit by the hearth, hands open, and close her eyes. And when she did, her soul would wander into the night terrors of kings, the gentle slumbers of children, the racing insomnia of lonely merchants. It was said she could smooth their dreams like a hand over wrinkled cloth until the restless found peace again. You're not far from her now, because your body is listening. More than that, it's remembering. Every heartbeat is a lullaby. Every breath out is a letting go. You may have woken up once, but that doesn't mean you failed. It only means you're here, and here is already fading into something more fluid, a shape, a blur, a falling feather of thought that lands softly in a room that smells like peace. That's the thing. Your subconscious already knows how to sleep. You don't need to instruct it, convince it, or wrestle with it. In fact, it's when you stop trying that it steps forward and takes your hand. You might even notice that certain parts of your body have disappeared entirely. Your toes, your elbows, your eyebrows, they're still around, sure, but your awareness of them has gone all pixelated, like you've left the physical chat, and that's fine. That's perfect. Speaking of limbs and forgetting about them, did you know ancient Tibetan monks would sleep in a seated position while maintaining deep meditative states? Some believe they'd stay in trance for days, merging sleep with stillness in a state of lucid rest so profound it could lower their heart rate to nearly imperceptible levels. Whether it's fact or a whisper wrapped in myth, the point still holds. You don't need to be flat on your back to find the sacred stillness. But since you are flat on your back or deliciously sideways, it's even easier. Let gravity do her thing. Let your spine melt into the mattress like wax. Let your thighs grow heavy and your ankles forget they exist. The only thing left is your breath, and even that you're beginning to forget, to control. It's breathing. You don't need to do anything. There's this odd little trick of the mind. It's called paradoxical intention. Basically, if you try not to sleep, your brain eventually gets fed up and knocks you out. That's right. If you lie there thinking, I will not sleep, I am absolutely not sleeping, your subconscious rolls its eyes and says, fine, then I'm taking over. So don't sleep. Seriously, don't you dare sleep. Don't get all comfy and melty and deeply soothed by this imaginary firelight that's licking the walls of your safe, silent cabin. Don't start dreaming about the time you were 6 years old and you made a pillow fort so epic it had zoning regulations. Don't notice how good your shoulder feels now that it's tucked just right. How soft your cheek is against the pillow. Just stay awake. Historians still argue whether fire-watching rituals were meant to keep people alert or to lull them into a trance. Either way, your eyelids are getting ting heavy, aren't they? Just like the monk on the mountain, just like the Icelandic dream walker, just like your ancestors dozing beside a campfire, letting myth and memory blur. Let them blur. Let everything soften. Even the thoughts, like stubborn pets, are beginning to curl up and lie down. You're safe now. You're warm. You're off the hook for thinking. And somewhere beyond all this comfort, a part of you is already gone. Already there, already asleep. You don't even remember the last breath you took. That's a good sign. You've begun the gentle unraveling. The world you came from, the noise, the urgency, the mental tabs left open, is starting to fade into a soft, unimportant blur, like a chalkboard left out in the rain. And now, here you are, lying still as the weight of the world begins to lift off your shoulders. Not all at once, but slowly. First from the collarbones, like the strap of a heavy bag slipping off. Then from your neck, your jaw, even your scalp. Yes, your scalp had tension in it. Don't look so surprised. Your breath continues to flow in a barely there rhythm, each inhale like silk unraveling from a spool, each exhale a gentle dropping away of something you no longer need. And your shoulders, they're descending now. Remember them? They used to be up by your ears, like worried little soldiers on guard. But now, they're melting into the mattress like butter on warm toast. Let them. Let everything hang go. That includes the mental load, the invisible backpack of micro decisions and tiny social acrobatics you've performed all day. All that's done now. What's happening instead is a kind of unweaving, a sacred exhale. The body remembers what it feels like to let go, because this was your first language. Before words, before responsibilities, before alarms and deadlines and texts from people who type LOL but aren't actually laughing. Your muscles are beginning to remember too. Let's move down gently, starting with the back of the neck. Feel it soften. Then your shoulders, again, drop them. Now your upper arms. They're not holding anything anymore, not even tension, just space. And now your elbows. They don't need to be sharp tonight. They can blur at the edges, like fog on a window pane. Your forearms, your wrists, your fingers. Let them grow heavier with each breath. They are sinking, not out of effort, but because they finally can. It's not failure, it's release. Even your fingertips, which held on to phone screens and steering wheels and coffee mugs all day, are slowly loosening their grip on the world. You're dissolving now, but in the best way, floating in this warmth, this quiet, this almost sleep. And in this half-lit space, your mind turns gently, like a lantern on a breeze, to something old, something oddly comforting, a story. Maybe not your story, maybe one carried on a breath of history. There's an ancient Chinese technique called anmo, which means press and rub. It predates modern massage and acupuncture and was believed to restore the body's internal harmony through deep pressure applied to specific points, some of which you're naturally stimulating just by lying still on a flat surface. Your hips, for example, gently pressed into the mattress, are easing the pelvic bowl, one of the body's deepest emotional vaults. Your sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of your spine, is grounded, aligned, neutral. It's the root. The ancient healers believed some space sleep wasn't just about rest, it was about realignment, returning to the natural flow, letting the chi or life energy move again without interruption. Modern science agrees in its own way. Deep sleep is when your body repairs itself, muscles, cells, even your brain's lymphatic system, which literally washes your thoughts clean like an overnight janitor with a mop and a flashlight. And here you are, in that sacred realignment process already. You're not falling asleep, you're returning to balance. You're not escaping the world, you're meeting yourself. Did you know Roman bathhouses weren't just about bathing? They were social centers, healing centers, even sleep sanctuaries. Some had rooms specifically for rest, called hypocaust chambers, heated by warm air circulating beneath the floors. Imagine that, lying down in a quiet stone room, warmed from below, with soft echoes bouncing off the arched ceilings as steam curled lazily around you. No emails, no alarms, just radiant heat and deep breathing. People fell asleep there, probably snored a bit too, and historians still debate whether these chambers were used for true sleeping or meditative trances. Either way, the intention was the same: restoration, just like now. Your spine, once coiled with effort, is releasing each vertebra into the mattress. Your legs, those sturdy things that carried you around all day, are now surrendered. Thighs melting outward, knees bent slightly or resting long and straight. It doesn't matter. You're held. The mattress has you. The floor beneath it has the mattress. The earth beneath that has everything else. And your feet, those tiny rebels, even they've given up. No more twitching, no more flexing, no more that weird thing where one toe stays alert just in case. They're done. In fact, if you try to wiggle them now, you might notice a delay, a foggy little pause. That's the body whispering, you don't need to move anymore, you can stay. So you stay, not because you're stuck, but because, you finally found the stillness worth staying for. And now comes the strangest thing of all. There's nothing left to do. You've released the physical shell. The heavy robe of waking life has dropped to the floor. You're free floating in a space that doesn't ask questions. There's a fringe theory in neuroscience that we evolved sleep not as a passive rest, but as an active construction site. That your brain, during sleep, actually rebuilds the architecture of you. New scaffolding, new wiring, cleaning up the debris from the day's emotional earthquakes. Sleep is where you reinvent yourself, quietly, night after night. Right now, you are standing at the door of that internal workshop, and behind it, the lights are flickering on. But there's no pressure, no one's rushing you. In fact, there's a quiet hallway before the door even opens. A hallway padded with velvet, softly lit by candlelight, stretching long and slow and safe. You walk it without walking, float it without feet. Maybe you hear a sound, something like a flute, or distant ocean waves, or the hum of memory itself. Maybe you hear nothing at all. That's good too. You're not asleep yet, but you've stopped trying to stay awake. That's the doorway. You're through it. You've earned it. You've laid down the weight of the world like it was a coat you didn't need anymore. And underneath it, you found yourself again. Softer, slower, sleepier. Let it continue. Let it deepen. You've already done the hard part. You remembered how to let go. You drift now, not quite anchored to the room, not quite gone either. Somewhere in the middle, like a paper boat on a slow river, turning gently with the ripples of thought. There's a hum in your head, not unpleasant, more like distant wind chimes or the quiet hiss of an old cassette tape. The kind of background sound that tells you you're not alone, but no one needs anything from you. Your thoughts have begun to blur at the edges. They're still there, kind of. But instead of marching in rigid lines, they're floating past like lanterns in a midnight sky, glowing softly, bobbing gently, some carrying fragments of your day, some just flickers of imagination. This is the labyrinth of gentle thoughts, and you're strolling through it now, hands behind your back, a faint half smile playing on your lips, not because anything is funny, but because nothing feels urgent. You may notice a memory float by, something ordinary, like a corner of your childhood room, or the smell of your grandmother's hallway, that strange pattern on a hotel carpet, a birthday candle flickering as you try to blow it out. But here's the thing, they're not demanding your attention. They're just passing by like friendly ghosts. And you're safe to watch them drift, to let them dissolve as soon as they appear. This is your mind's garden at night, and it's beautiful. Even the shadows are soft. You pass an archway, ivy climbing its sides. Beyond it, a quiet chamber lit in blue. Maybe you step through, maybe not. Either way, you know it's yours. This right here is where the subconscious starts to sweep its corridors. There's evidence from ancient civilizations, Greece, Egypt, Mesopotamia, that dreams were not seen as random nighttime nonsense, but divine messages, sacred encounters. Sleep temples existed, literal buildings where people went to dream on purpose. They'd lie in sacred chambers overnight, sometimes after fasting or ritual bathing, hoping to receive a viz and from the gods. The most famous of these was in Epidaurus, dedicated to Asclepius, the Greek god of healing. People would come from across the land, aching and desperate, and rest upon stone slabs, waiting to be healed in their sleep. It said they dreamed of serpents slithering over their bodies, whispering cures, or of warm light pouring into their wounds. And many woke up feeling better, physically, emotionally, psychologically. Was it faith? Placebo? The power of the subconscious? Historians still argue whether these temples actually worked, or whether people simply healed because, for once, they believed they could. And really, what's the difference? You're in your own kind of sleep temple now. A quiet one, with invisible torches lighting the walls and velvet corridors unfurling endlessly. Each step you take is less of a step and more of a drift. The air is cool. Maybe there's the scent of sandalwood or lavender, something ancient, something grounding. You've stopped trying to relax. It's just happening. Now, the muscles behind your eyes are softening. The little muscles around your temples, ones you didn't even know existed, have finally unclenched. Even your thoughts, those chatterboxes, are getting drowsy. They're trying to finish sentences, but giving up halfway through, like, I should remember to, tomorrow I need to call that. Was I supposed to? You chuckle, quietly, inside. Your thoughts have officially become your sleepy toddlers, and you've gently handed them a soft blanket, kissed their forehead, and whispered, "Shh, later." Your consciousness is floating lower now, like a feather drifting toward the ocean floor, but not fast, never fast. You're descending through layers of awareness, like silk sheets, and in that soft spiral downward, your mind flashes to another time, another story. This one involves the philosopher Aristotle. He had a theory that dreams were just the residual movements of the soul as the body cooled down, like steam from a bath. Nothing spiritual, just excess brain heat. He wasn't exactly Mr. Romance. But what's funny is, his student, Alexander the Great, reportedly believed in dream signs. He even changed his battle strategies based on dreams. One night, he dreamed of a satyr dancing on a rock. The next morning, he told his generals, "It's a sign. We take that island today." And they did. So which is it? Brain steam or celestial map? Maybe both, maybe neither. Maybe it doesn't matter, because right now, your body is cooling, your soul is dancing, and your mind is writing dream poetry in invisible ink. You're not here to figure anything out. You're here to stop figuring, to float, to blur, to rest. And somewhere deeper still, you'll find that place where your mind finally gives up the need to narrate. That's where the real dreams begin, the ones you don't remember, the ones that heal you anyway. Let it happen. You don't have to go anywhere. You're already there. This space, this lull, this between awareness and slumber, it's fertile ground. Your brain is preparing to enter theta waves, a state associated with deep creativity, intuition, and subconscious programming. It's where healing happens, and you don't need to do anything but listen, be carried, be breathed. This is the part where the floor beneath you becomes cloud-like, where time loses interest in ticking forward, where even your bones hum with the quiet joy of non-responsibility. A part of you is still aware, lightly, but that part is getting lazy, not in a bad way, just comfortably disinterested. It's okay. It knows you're safe now. Let that little part of you roll over, nestle deeper, and yawn its way into silence. You are being gently erased in the most loving, exquisite way. What's left? Only softness, only warmth, only the slow, invisible garden of your dreaming mind. Let the thoughts pass. Let the stories blur. Let even this voice dissolve. You're doing so well. And even if you don't remember a thing tomorrow, some deep part of you will. The part that stretches when you wake up. The part that smiles for no reason. The part that, for just a moment, doesn't need coffee to feel whole. That's what you're creating now. With every breath, with every flickering memory, with every inch of your body returning to its most natural state, still, slow, and safe. Keep floating. There's no right way to dream. Just keep letting go. You've floated far, friend, drifting down through the folds of thought, past memories that no longer need unpacking, into a space where the air itself feels thick with kindness, like warm velvet pressed against your skin. And above you, or maybe within you, is a dark sky, shimmering with quiet stars that blink slowly, lazily, like they too are falling asleep. This is the space beneath the velvet sky. You're lying still, your breath a whisper, your thoughts now faint silhouettes, and yet there's something distinctly magical here. A sense that you've arrived somewhere ancient, familiar, like a place your soul has visited hundreds of times before. though you'd never know it by daylight. You're not dreaming yet, not fully, but you're close. So close, in fact, that reality has started to feel optional. Let it. Tonight's sky isn't just darkness. It's a ceiling painted by centuries of seekers, lovers, wanderers, a living dome of stories and stillness. You float neath it, like a stargazer in ancient Egypt, where they believed the sky was a goddess, Nut arching her body protectively over the earth. She swallowed the sun each night, then gave birth to it again in the morning. And now she watches over you. There's a quiet pulse in the air, not a sound exactly, more of a presence. The sky is alive, not loud, not commanding, just humming. Have you noticed how little effort it takes now to exist? To lie here, you're barely you in the daytime sense anymore. No name badge, no task list, no browser tabs open in your mind. Just soft presence, quiet intention, a floating warmth. Out here, under this vast, sleepy sky, you remember something important. You were never meant to carry everything, not all the time, not alone. And with each breath, you release one more tiny, invisible burden. A thought you didn't realize was clenched between your ribs, a memory stored in your hips, a plan you've been holding in your jaw like a bite of something too big to chew. There's a strange freedom in forgetting, isn't there? Just for now, not forever, just long enough to feel weightless. And as your body drapes deeper into the mattress, like silk on stone, your mind floats higher, just enough to glimpse the starlit sea above. Ancient sailors once used those stars to navigate oceans. No GPS, no charts, just the sky. They read constellations like letters from home. Orion, Cassiopeia, Ursa Major, and there was one story, probably apocryphal but sweet nonetheless, about a sailor who dreamed he could talk to the stars. He'd lie on his back and hum a low tune, and if the pitch matched the frequency of a star's spirit, it would blink twice, once for yes, twice for no. When asked if he was mad, he replied, "Only by daylight." You'd like him, I think, because he knew something that we forget. The sky isn't up, it's all around us, especially when you sleep, especially now. Historians still argue whether medieval stargazing was science or superstition, whether those who tracked planetary movement were proto-astronomers or mere astrologers. But tonight, you don't have to decide. Because tonight, the stars aren't demanding answers. They're just watching, not judging, just keeping you company. And as your brain enters deeper theta waves, and the line between thought and dream begins to dissolve entirely, you feel it again, that loosening, that slow melting away of the need to do anything. You could fall asleep right now, or now, or now. And every time you think about sleep, it lulls you closer to it. Like water rocking you on a boat you don't remember boarding. You may notice your body has grown impossibly heavy, like you're sinking into the center of the earth, or impossibly light, like you're rising into a night wind. Either way, you are held. This velvet sky has no ceiling, no pressure. You float. Maybe you see a strange symbol etched in starlight. Maybe you hear a lullaby from your childhood carried on the wind. Maybe you feel the edges of a dream already forming, one that will greet you soon with kindness and ease. There's time, there's space, and there's no need to rush. You've stepped far beyond the noise now. Even the internal monologue has grown sleepy. There are fewer words, fewer shapes, just sensations, colors, pulses. Even this voice, the one in your ear, feels less like a narrator and more like part of the dream. Let it be. Let it all be. The temperature is perfect. The air tastes like moonlight and old libraries, and maybe a touch of cedar wood. And beneath the velvet sky, you feel a permission you haven't felt in a long time. You don't need to be anything but resting. That's enough. And in being enough, you've already succeeded. Now, somewhere beyond the noise, the thoughts, the to-dos, your subconscious self is smiling because it knows. You've remembered the way home. You've let go of the wheel. You're not asleep yet, but you're right on the edge. You can stay here as long as you like. No rush, no rules, just stars above, dreams ahead, and a hush that holds everything you are. Float there, breathe there, fall gently into the nothing that heals everything. There's something sacred about this final stretch, the last thin veil between you and sleep. You've crossed so many quiet thresholds already. Released thoughts, unclenched muscles, drifted past memory and into myth. And now the mind is stepping back entirely. The body knows what to do. It always has. The steady, easy breath you're riding, that's ancient, pre-language, pre-story. It's the same rhythm your ancestors knew as they lay in caves under the stars, or hammocks slung between palm trees, or mossy beds in forest sanctuaries. You've become that breath, gentle, rhythmic, safe. And now your body, in all its wisdom, takes over. There's no more effort, just permission. You're not falling asleep. You're becoming sleep. Let's walk down gently, slowly, into that final resting layer. You're at the shoreline now, toes in the surf of dream space. Each wave laps at your consciousness, pulling a little more wakefulness away with every gentle sweep, back and forth and back There's nothing to hold on to, nothing to fix, nothing to remember. And now the body, this magnificent soft machine, is kicking in its nightly alchemy. Did you know that during deep sleep, your brain secretes growth hormone to repair tissue, that your immune system strengthens, that your heart rate slows to its most peaceful pace, like a sacred drum in the dark? One study even found that athletes perform better, not from more training, but from deeper sleep. Your body knows this, and it's already begun the repairs. Quietly, efficiently, like a team of janitors sweeping up glitter after a party. Even your skin, your largest organ, is regenerating cell by cell in the background. Your digestive system is resting. Your eyes, closed now without effort, are moving slowly beneath their lids, as if scanning the horizon of some upcoming dream. And oh, the dreams, they are close, like animals at the edge of the clearing, watching, waiting, respectful of your peace. Somewhere behind your closed lids, a kaleidoscope has started to turn. Colors and symbols and feelings swirl, preparing to speak to you in the oldest language there is. Dream. Your ears begin to tune out the last frequencies of the waking world. Maybe you hear faint music, or nothing, or just this voice, growing softer and slower with you. Even the sound of your own thoughts has gone low and distant, like conversation through a closed door down a long hallway. That door will close soon, and when it does, the dreams will step forward. You won't need to understand them. They'll work on you anyway, quietly, gently, with kindness. There's an old tale, possibly apocryphal, about Leonardo da Vinci sleeping in intervals of just 20 minutes, scattered across the day, a strange method called polyphasic sleep. Supposedly, he claimed he could access creative ideas in those short bursts that others could only find in full REM cycles. Historians still argue whether he actually did this, or whether it was just another myth is sewn into the tapestry of his genius. But here's what's real. Even the most brilliant minds recognized that sleep was not passive, it was powerful. So powerful, in fact, that many of Da Vinci's most famous inventions supposedly came to him in sleep. The flying machine, the rotating bridge, the anatomical sketches. And you're no different. Inside your own subconscious, there are blueprints being drawn, emotional repairs being made, connections linking, fusing, healing. Every breath is a stitch. Every heartbeat is a lullaby. Every second you rest is an act of deep cellular creativity. You are not doing nothing. You are regenerating. The final piece now is letting go of the voice. Even this one, even me. I've guided you here, and now I fade too, like a lantern lowered into mist, like footsteps that don't need to be followed, because the body knows how to sleep, and you beautiful being, have remembered. You'll drift now, into dreams not yet written, into stillness that hums with this life, into yourself. Good night. So now, as your breath slows to the rhythm of the waves, as your limbs become mist, as your mind opens the door and walks backward into the gentle shadows of sleep, know that you've done enough, more than enough. Tonight, you honored your body by letting it rest. You honored your mind by stepping aside. You honored your heart by letting go. Let your final thought be soft. Let your final sensation be warmth. There's nothing you've forgotten, nothing pressing to solve. The world can wait. And when you return, it will greet you with open arms and clearer skies. But for now, you drift, weightless, safe, wrapped in sleep's deepest silence. Even if you don't remember what comes next, your body will. Even if your dreams swirl and shift, you'll remain held. Even if the world turns outside your window, you are still. Let the last sounds you hear be nothing at all, or a whisper of wind, or the soft hush of your own heartbeat in the dark. Tomorrow can wait. Sleep is now. Sleep is here. Sleep has found you, and it won't let go until you're fully whole again. Shh. Good night. Sleep well. You are so loved.